Shalom, shalom, family. It's Yehuda from YAH'S Assembly. Just coming to you guys with another quick one. Before we get into it, June, lead us in prayer.
I'd like to thank you for waking us up today and enjoying another day that you blessed us with, Abiyah. And I'd like to ask you for the strength of a sound mind and discernment as we get into this word today, Abiyah, and guide us and let your Ruach move within us, Abiyah. In your name I pray, Yahuwah. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. All right, let's get into it. You already did that. I don't know why it does that. So, like we said, today's going to be a quick one. This is Sound Mind Part 6, Solomon's Understanding Heart. And how, especially in the beginning of Solomon's reign as king, it was what propelled him to be known as the wisest king on earth at the time or ever after him. But still, he had to do something. He had to still ask to be able to gain that type of wisdom. And, we're going over sound mind, and it's just important nowadays for us to be able to discern between good and evil, and to be able to judge righteously between people, because today's day, they tell you not to judge anybody. That's taken out of context because we still have to give righteous judgment. There's no way you can be a priest or a king or even a follower of the Most High through his son, Yahusha, without being able to judge righteously. And there's a lot of run to that, trying to be the first one to let you know news or whatever, even if it's not fully true. And we know through going through the scriptures and realizing the word diligently seeking, that phrase, what that actually means, that it means that you have to scrutinize, you have to investigate. And that's something that people don't want to do. They just want to go with the norm and with what everybody else is doing, even if it's wrong. But you have to be a judge in this day and time. You can't just go get the jab because everybody else is getting the jab, because Fauci and all these other people are telling you to go get it. You can't just go to and fro from every wind of doctrine just because it's herd mentality, herd immunity. We have to, in this day and age, have the heart that, or mind, that Solomon had in the beginning before he, fell away. We have to have an understanding heart. We have to diligently seek things out, and we have to make sure that our mind and our heart is pure before we go and try to judge somebody. Because if we're judging somebody with hate or bitterness in our heart, then that's going to be a skewed judgment. Because, when we get mad and we get in the flesh, we can't really discern anything. We just want the other person to know that we're hurt, to know that we know what they did, and we want them to know that we're going to get them back, because it's all about me and I. It's self-worship. It's I am God. It's I am everything except for what the Most High actually wants me to be. That's what this world exalts. That's why we have to continue to separate ourselves from these things. So, we're going over a sound mind, June. So, what is a sound mind?
What is a sound mind?
Mm-hmm.
I know what it is, but putting it into words is, to me, a sound mind is, just basically what it says, a sound mind. But to be able to judge without, emotions, to have your clear train of thought, and to do things, in a righteous manner. But just, I guess you could say, like, to do things without harboring any type of emotion, or especially hate in your heart. Because if you do things without a sound mind, you will find yourself in the mud real quick.
Right. So, Now, we went over the Greek mind. So in the Greek mind is sophronismos. Good luck saying that. And it just means, control or self-control. But from the Hebrew mind, it's more than that. I think you missed that part last Shabbat or whatever. But from the Hebrew mind, there was like 4 different words, and there's other words that you can use interchangeably that give you a better understanding of it. So the first word was tamim. Tamim. Now, with this word, it means complete, entire wholeness, sound, and healthful. Now, in Psalms 119, this is one of the words that's being used there. And then just the word for your inner man or your spirit man is just leb. Leb. But those aren't there's 2 words or a phraseology that's actually better than that. So the word sound mind genders to health. So the other word is marpe. Marpe. And marpe, it means health, healing, remedy, cure, sound. So a sound mind is our cure from all this stuff that's going on in this world, because they want you to stay in chaos. They want you to stay worried. They don't want you to have any kind of confidence or faith in anything outside of man, not a spiritual power that you can't see. They want you to only believe and trust in what you can see and power and the authority that man has been given. And that's error.
Yeah, because that's a mind battle, man.
Yeah.
It's a mind battle. One of the things that they use that I've seen to spark that battle is fear.
Oh, yeah. They definitely use fear. Fear is their main tactic. And there's a lot of fear mongering, especially in the news. And you see, they're always at strategic times dropping all these police shootings and all these mass shootings, and this at specific strategic times.
Yep, to build up that fear, let that fear build up on anxiety of whatever else is going to happen, or you think that is about to happen. But that's where that sound mind comes into play. Like, you just got to be, you got to stand firm.
Got to stand firm. You got to keep the faith. You got to stand firm and keep the faith, like you're saying. Another word for, the mind or the heart, in this case, this word is just ball. We're always playing basketball or baseball or tennis, whatever. It's always with a ball. That's literally the word. It's like BAL. It's like minus L.
Okay.
But it's pronounced with it's with a W. Baal. It's close to Baal, but it's just ball.
Close to
right.
B-A-A-L.
Right.
Just ball.
Right. Mm-hmm. So most of this is just a rehash of the stuff that we've been going over and going through, because the reason why a lot of our families are broken, and we go to all these family quote-unquote holidays or reunions, and everyone gets together, but everybody's backbiting, and everyone's picking and choosing sides. They only hear one side, and then they go and they try to chop your head off, and then they haven't got the full scope or all the evidence because they haven't diligently sought anything out. That's why there's no peace, because nobody's focusing on renewing your mind, for one, because once you have a sound mind, you still have to work on keeping it or renewing it, just like the renewed covenant, not the new covenant. But that's not what people do. They want us to just, go along with the flow. Well, I don't like her because she didn't look at me right, or she didn't cook the food right, or he owed me money because he lost his job. Right. Yeah. And that's not even what you heard. That's what you thought you heard. You just misconstrued it in your head. The people that are unstable, like they rest in Paul's scriptures, they're unstable in everything, though.
But you said, during a time of a gathering of a holiday, that whole situation there in itself is unstable from the start because of the celebration of this holiday with this unfamiliar spirit.
Right.
That it's for. Just traditions, and don't take away the heathen.
And our families, like our members, according to the Bible, children are your oppressors and women rule over you. Now, in context, it's actually a curse when that happens to us. But because the men have not stepped up and done what they're supposed to do, because the situations that they saw and everything that they went through, we've been raised unstable. And when you're raised unstable, it's hard to find a good foundation, because all you know is instability. And then when you read the scripture, it talks about how a double-minded man or an unstable man, it just doesn't profit. It's not. I don't even know what to liken it to, but if you don't have a sound mind or aren't working towards having a sound mind, then I mean, what can you truly accomplish, like spiritually, with the Most High? All you know is pain. All you know is hurt. All you know is arguments and dissensions and contentions, and you don't even know how to deal with your own people. Let it be people of other nations, people that aren't, so-called kin to you, and then you'll let stuff slide. But people that are your own blood, oh, you're so wicked to them. You have an evil eye towards them.
Quick snap back.
Because a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So we got to find a way to get rid, because if you're double-minded, it's almost like you have two heads. And we're supposed to die. That's why Paul is talking about that war in Romans 7 is going on in his mind between the two laws. Because that old man has got to die, so you're not a double-minded man. You only have one mind. That way both of your eyes can be single and be focused on doing the will of the Most High, which is the most important thing. But nowadays, again, everybody wants to keep up with the Joneses. Everybody wants to be on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube.
Do whatever you can for a like.
Subscribe, comment. We'll do anything for $1, for anything for something strange, like we was talking about. If you're not verified on these social media sites, who are you? Like, what does that matter? What does that really matter? Because people aren't focused on the right things.
So how many followers you got? What does that matter?
No, I got as much as the Most High is giving me right now.
Exactly.
And then in time, what will happen? More will be given.
Exactly.
As long as we're faithful. You know what I'm saying? This is not about that. It's not about, oh, I got this, like you said, this many thousands of followers, but they're not eating any good fruit. They just liked or subscribed to your page, and then they're not applying anything, because listening to teachings all day without application, what's the point? I mean, that's what people do, because they don't want to read the Bible no more. They definitely don't want to read it. So what do? Well, I'll just listen to all these different teachers that have all these different doctrines, and then I'll just take from him and take from, because I agree, you do have to, chew up the meat and spit out the bones. But if you're an unstable person, you don't know how to spit out the bones. So what does that create? That creates that double mind, a second head. And people don't even realize that's why we talk about personality disorders. People just all of a sudden snap and have no control over anything, don't remember anything, and they're always the victim. Everybody else is wrong. A double-minded man or woman is unstable in all of his or her ways. That's why we got to focus on, again, renewing our mind and having a sound mind. Now, we're going to go into a few different scriptures, because whenever we're dealing with family, spouses, close friends that are like family, we can't have all these presumptions about certain situations. We have to still judge righteously, and in this case have Solomon's understanding heart or mind. Because again, we know that the heart is just the mind. So this is just a rehash. Proverbs 18 and verse 13. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. How many people do you know? Like, as soon as they hear anything, they're already going to give you their judgment or their determination of it, and they haven't even heard the matter.
Hey man, guess what? Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah.
Just cut you right off. Yeah, man, I heard about it. You don't even know what I was going to ask you, but you heard about what?
Or you don't even know my response to what you said. You think you already know where I'm coming from and what I'm going to say. To be honest, like, how dare you? I give you the respect that you deserve to speak your side or your opinion of what's going on, but then you don't give me the same respect. Don't let my good be evil spoken of. And don't twist and warp my words around just because you always are right in your own eyes, in your own conceit. Ecclesiasticus 11 verses 7 through 9. Oh, excuse me, 7 and 8. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. We don't do that. That's not what in our families. We all have those family members or those cliques in families that as soon as anything is done or anyone, even if you know that person's a liar, says anything, this whole clique is going to say that this person did that, even though you have no evidence, you have no proof, you haven't diligently sought anything out. You just want to, be the first ones to
just on the basis that they're known liars. So yeah, they could have came up with that. I see them saying that. Like yeah, I can imagine them saying that. Did you see them say that? Did you ask them if they actually said that? Like, nah, just going with the flow.
No, but like everybody else said that he did it, so that must be true. I'm like, no, it's not. Because people are scared to go against the grain, and then they're scared of confrontation. Like now, if everybody's on your side, then everybody's all buck and ready for it. But if it's just one person, like, no, that don't sound right. People don't want to be that one voice of reason because it's not popular. Because it's not
something that's shunned upon these days.
Yeah. Because people want to be followers.
They call you what's the terms like back then? What lane, square, and all of that.
Yeah, L7 and
like no, I just want to know if this was really said.
I just want the truth. Because that's what makes me free. That's what sets me free, right? Verse 8, answer not before thou hast heard the cause, neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. Our people definitely don't do that. You can't even get your full thought out because people want to, again, usurp their authority, dominion. If they're older than you, they want to make sure that they are the ones that are heard, even though you've already heard them repeat the same thing over and over. And then it's finally your time once you find a break in their conversation. Like, okay, I understand what you're saying, but this is actually what happened. You can't even get the this out. And they're already, oh, you're this and you're that.
Next subject. Just yeah.
And again, it's because people are leaning to their own understanding, and it's like, man, or woman, are you serious? Are you actually hearing what's being said, or you just want to always get the last?
Tick them off or whatever. Because I mean, without a sound self for attack from whichever spirit anyway. So there could be a spirit just lashing out.
It's not even could be. They get so comfortable in that they don't even realize it. Mm-hmm. Like, they got other voices in their head. People literally have other voices in their head.
Exactly.
Like Randy Orton's theme song, I hear voices in my head. People literally have that. And you know what? Because they don't war in their mind, they don't battle that thing. Those voices, they have what? They have dominion. They have control.
Those voices get louder. Start to drown out your voice.
Right. People can't sleep. People can't not pick a person that's always bad for them, always ends up cheating on them or stealing money from them. When you see the signs, but the voices in your head are like, no, it'll be different this time. Or it'll be the same person that keeps doing the same perpetual thing. Because we are scared to try to judge righteous judgment. Like, man, I understand you may have changed, but what your actions have showed me, you and me, we ain't it. You're not good for me. We're not a good fit. It don't matter what I'm going through now, and I'm happy and proud of you for all the changes that you made. But we got to be mature enough to be like, yeah, man. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, when it was good, but it's not good for me. I'm taking back control over my mind, my life. My lead, my inner man. My I'm taking back control of the health of my mind, because mental health, people devalue it, and then you want to talk crazy and look down on people that have mental issues or whatever, and you don't even realize that you have the same thing. Like they don't see it. I'm like, You realize everybody claims that you off, right? You know, something ain't right with you. But there's always something wrong with somebody else. Look in the mirror. Take a look in the mirror. I mean, it gets to a point that you have to start being like, look, you always casting stones at everybody else. And it's never you.
You gotta be able to check yourself first before you can try to check anybody else. You're not willing to set yourself straight by looking in that mirror, man. Like, wow, it's deep.
No, because that's what the Messiah was talking about. Like, if you got an ought or your brother has an ought against you, don't even try to bring a offering to the Most High. Get that straight first. But people want to go ahead and just pray and try to repent without actually repenting to that person and asking for forgiveness. I wonder why they can't move forward and they're still stuck in the same place.
First, the definition of repentance is to, what was that? The definition of
Turn away from.
Yeah, to change your lifestyle.
Right.
To change that up. You got to turn away from that, the old way that you was doing. That's what repenting is. And if you're still stuck in that same spot, on that same situation, you haven't repented
No.
at all.
That's why people are still with all the trauma, because we know our people are the most broken people on the face of the planet right now. And with all that trauma, it's like, look, if you don't start letting that stuff go, in your mind, you are still going to be a child and you're 70 years old. You're going to be stuck there. Because you still have there's two men or women in you. There's two minds in you. And again, a double-minded man is unstable in all its ways. When Yahushua's talking about what the man is like that listens to him, they're built on what? A rock or a solid foundation. But those that don't, it's just like you're building a house on sand. That's what it is. They're in quicksand and they don't even know it. Because again, they're comfortable. Having a sound mind gets you out of that, what we call comfortability. Because you have to change. You have to actively work on it. You have to use pay action. You got to read scriptures. You got to focus on having a sound mind, looking for the goodness of the Most High. You can't just wallow in these things. You got to stop claiming these things because they start possessing you. I mean, that's what we've been talking about with
Pay action.
All right, pay action. But yeah, go ahead.
We speak things into existence.
Man.
Like, our words have power to them. And as long as somebody is being negative towards themselves, they'll never have any positive outcome because they're speaking negative things just on themselves. Well, I ain't gonna never have enough money to get this rent this month. Guess what? You won't, because you just spoke that into existence.
Right. And for those of you that don't know, pay is your mouth or the words, because death and life is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. And we have the ability or the power because we were made in the Most High's image. So you gotta, with the sound mind, you have to guard your mouth. You have to guard your thoughts, because by your words you will be justified. Well, your words can only come out of you, if they come from your mind, because we know that the heart or the mind knows the issues of life. And people are just so loose with their life like that. They'll say anything, won't have no type of filter. This is not the time to not have a filter. This is the time to filter.
Be able to check yourself. Watch what you say. Speak accordingly.
Right.
Watch your words. Even if it's just joking around, you gotta watch.
Right. And even more to watch your thoughts, because we have thousands. They said 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. You got to be careful. And you wonder why you can't get out of these states. It's like, no, there's states of health, states of consciousness. But like anything in this realm, you got to do a little bit of something. You got to work a little bit. You got to have amunah. That's the other part of pay action. You got to have faith and be, like you said earlier, stand firm and believe on these things. You can't just be saying one day, oh, yeah, I believe that, I'm healed, and I don't work towards it. I don't speak it every day. You just said it one time. You read one scripture that the Messiah said that asking you shall receive, seeking you shall find, knocking it shall be opened unto you. That's it. And you do nothing else.
You gotta repeat that daily if you don't believe it.
But I don't know, man.
Chant it if you have to.
You got to.
Continuously pray about it.
Because the scripture, like the book says that it's the scriptures that heals you. I'll go even a step further. It's not the scriptures that heal you, because there's people that read in the scriptures but don't believe the scriptures have power. It's your belief in the scriptures that heals you. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like,
It says the wicked won't be able to discern anything from the Bible, so everybody ain't gonna be able to get healed from it.
no, Yahusha can heal everybody.
You gotta be able. That's where faith comes in. You gotta be able to believe that
Right.
blindly. Faith is believing what the unseen.
Right.
Believing what is unseen.
Right. And with this wisdom, like getting back into the scriptures, praying, meditating in them, asking for a sound mind so the Most High can give you these things, we have to realize that in the hour that we live in right now, discernment is crucial. People still don't have discernment. Like they still, just like are in La La Land, still asleep. And I'm like, man, these folks is trying to kill us even more. This out in the open now. One of the videos that they took down, Fauci was just basically just telling us the game, like, yeah, we're gonna go to their communities, go to their leaders, go to their athletes, their celebrities, and we're gonna get them to influence. And that's why there's this big move in influencers to take the jab. And I'm like, wow, man, just like in focus. I'm like, I think it was on ABC.
Been doing that since the beginning of the 2019 epidemic. It hit the
Right.
states. So,
but they never said that's what they were doing. He literally said it verbatim.
That's what they were doing. I could see that that's what they were doing. I mean, celebrities claiming that they have this and that,
Mm-hmm.
Dying from it and all of this, but all of that is just hearsay. Like, I don't know if that's true or not, because I haven't investigated that. I'm not going to believe that it's true just because it's been told to me. No. So, I mean, if these celebrities did die from that, or anybody else from the rudder,
Yeah.
like, how can we just chop it up to what's been said on the media as truth? Because it's been told to us.
Right.
Spooned to us.
It's tell lie vision. Like telling they vision of a lie. Mm-hmm. Half them people probably be getting cloned anyway because they be doing too much. So again, what understanding is in the Bible, where it comes from. Right? We're going back to Deuteronomy 4. We're going to read verses 1 and 2 and verse 6. It says, now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments. We have to be able to judge righteously. Only God can judge me is a lie. Which I teach you, for to do them, that you may live and go in and possess the land which Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers giveth you. You shall not add unto the word which I command you. So don't add nothing to it. Don't add your personal feelings or emotionalism into it. Neither shall you diminish aught from it, that you may keep the commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim which I command you. Verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. The problem is, again, we don't want to read. Because even if you don't necessarily go to the first 5 books of the laws, because there's so many and people are scared of them, you can go to 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, and you can see how unstable our people were. How many of them didn't have a sound mind. That way you aren't doomed to repeat the same errors of our ancestors. Because in case you don't know, we the people of the book. But it's, again, because if it's not on entertainment, if it's not on social media, if it's not on the television, we don't have time for it. But we'll have time for everything else. For all these other games and going to the casino and this and that. But we won't make any time for the Most High, and that is an error. Because again, in this hour, a discerning heart or mind is crucial. Because they are laying snare upon snare upon snare. And if y'all don't know, here within the next month, it's about to start getting really sci-fi. I'm not going to get into specifics, but the government is finally about to let us know about these quote-unquote UFOs. A greater deception is coming. And if you can't discern now, or if you're not going to at least start praying and reading and searching for it, you're going to get lost. You're going to fall by the wayside before the time for us to actually be saved out of this last Jacob's trouble that we're in, for those of us that make it. We're going to go to Proverbs 4 now. So we're in Deuteronomy 4 and we're going to Proverbs 4. Again, a lot of this is a rehash. I'm going to read verse 2. For I give you good doctrine, forsake you not my law. That should just be, I shouldn't have to say anything else. Because we just read that is our wisdom in the sight of the nations. He taught me also and said unto me, let thine heart retain my words, your heart is your mind, and keep my commandments and live, because it gives you life. That's why you're supposed to renew your mind so you can keep getting life. Verse 5, get wisdom, get understanding. So don't just read the book and then be like a lot of these people on YouTube can just recite scriptures day and night, but then they don't apply it, and it's not actually written in your heart.
I can't give you the meaning of that scripture.
No, they just know that that's the answer. No, this is the answer. Like you go to school and you just study the answers and you don't understand why. That's why it says get understanding. Like you said, understand the thing. Like they did in Ezra and Nehemiah's time, they gave people the sense of the thing. Because you can only give people the sense of it if you have a sound mind in that thing. That's the only way you can do it. Neither decline from the words of my mouth, forsake her not, talking about wisdom, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing. It's principle. Prioritize it. Therefore, get wisdom. And with all that getting, still get an understanding. Get understanding. Understand. You got to understand first and then rebuke. Is what we just read. Understand first and then rebuke. Exalt her and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou dost embrace her. Because when people realize that you have wisdom and understanding, your face starts to shine like Moshe, like Enoch, like Yahusha. There's a glory that comes upon you. And it says, she shall give to thine head an ornament of grace. That sounds like a crown. And that's what we're all striving towards, is getting that crown. A crown of glory shall she deliver to thee, because obedience is better than sacrifice. Now, again, this is about judging and discerning between common and uncommon or unclean. So I'm going to go to Leviticus 19. I'm going to read verse 15. You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. I'm going to stop right there. Because a lot of our family will know that somebody else did you wrong, and they'll turn a blind eye to it. You know, or because maybe you owe them money, or maybe y'all got into it, they're going to take that other person's side. That's not righteous judgment.
Sit there. Or just do nothing. Sit there and watch it out.
That's not righteous judgment at all. It says, thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness thou shalt judge thy neighbor. It don't matter how much money they got, how much clothes they got, how many women or men they got, what job they got. It don't matter. We still have to judge according to the instructions of the Most High, His word, Yahusha, Torah. Deuteronomy 1 verse 16. And I charged your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously, between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is with him. Because they don't, even the people that aren't family, you know, we got a couple of people, you know, but we chill with them every now and then because, like, we consider them as family. We still got to judge righteously with them too. You know, don't, just because I did something wrong, if somebody's with me, you can't just blame them for that too. You got to be honest, you got to be fair, and you got to judge righteous judgment. John 7 verse 24. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. And that's what people do. You know, if like you got disabilities, this and that, and families and loved ones, and you know, maybe, you know, some days, like, you know, everybody has bad days.
I was just thinking about that last
Go ahead.
night.
Go ahead.
You said not into the appearance.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about that last night. Just being in a suit and tie
Yeah.
versus just regular casual clothes, like whether it be urban wear or just some pants and a shirt, polo shirt, whatever. Like this suit and tie doesn't make you who you are. And what I was saying to myself was like, you know, anybody can wear a suit and tie. You say, well, people these days would say, well, you know, put you on a suit and tie, you'd be respectable, look respectable, and all of that. And I'm like, well, you know, it's a lot of disrespectful people in a suit and tie doing unspeakable things, all in the sake of business. Oh, it's just business. You know, undercutting somebody's payments or taking their whole house and leaving them out on the street is just business, all in this suit and tie. You know what I'm saying?
What's that show with Mark Cuban on it? You know what I'm talking about?
Mark Cuban.
With all those millionaires and people that come up there trying to get them to invest in their company.
Oh, I've seen one episode of that before. Something about a Shark Tank.
Shark Tank.
Something with
Kevin from there is one of the most disrespectful people you will ever meet in life.
yeah.
And he be wearing a what? A suit and a tie.
A suit and a tie. Like it's nothing. It doesn't matter what clothing you have on.
No.
It's about what spirit you have on. What spirit you're walking in. Because the clothing don't matter. I mean, like I said, there's a bunch of disrespectful people in suits. Some, you know, are okay. Some are righteousness. You know, we're trying to walk in righteousness. But whether they're in a suit and tie, just regular clothes, or homeless, whatever, like, quit judging by their appearance. Oh, I gotta look this certain way, so I'll be treated like this. Whatever. Don't worry about that, man. Just wear what you feel comfortable wearing and act accordingly.
See, you just said something that was really crazy. Wear what you're what?
Feel comfortable wearing.
The problem is we've been wearing another man's image. So we've been wearing another man's mind. We came here and they broke us. And we're still trying to chase the Western mind
That dream.
when we're Hebrew. That white picket fence. We wouldn't, like, in Africa, we wouldn't have cared nothing about no white picket fence.
Trying to chase their definition of success.
Because we were made in their image here. After their likeness. And
true success is within the heavenly Father, off top.
And that's what I'm saying. We don't realize that we were born into the deception, the great deception. But if we're wearing somebody else's image or somebody else's mind, that makes us unstable. It makes us double-minded. That's why we have to get back to having Solomon, when he was judging righteously, his understanding heart. That's what we got to get back to. That's how simple you could break things down. So now, to try to go ahead and get this done, we're going to go to 1 Kings 3. And we're going to read the whole thing. I'll start it off. So let me know when you're there.
Got it.
Okay. It says, and Solomon made affinity with Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim, and took Pharaoh's daughter and brought her into the city of David, until he had made an end of building his own house and the house of Yahuwah, and the wall of Jerusalem round about. Now, affinity means he got married to Pharaoh's daughter. Only the people sacrificed in high places, because there was no house built unto the name of Yahuwah until those days. And Solomon loved Yahuwah, walking in the statutes of Daud his father. Only he sacrificed and burnt incense in high places, because the house wasn't built yet. And the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for that was the great high place. 1,000 burnt offerings did Solomon offer upon the altar. So he was sacrificing to the Most High. Gibeon literally means hill city or high place. Verse 5. In Gibeon, Yahuwah appeared to Solomon in a dream by night. And Elohim said, ask what I shall give thee. Because what did Yahuwah say? Ask and you shall receive. And Solomon said, thou hast showed unto thy servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he walked before thee in Torah, or in truth, and in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart with thee. And thou hast kept for him this great kindness, that thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. And now, O Yahuwah my Elohim, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David, my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. El Bernie, you haven't met him. He always talks about that. Now, when people see this, so actually, the reason why this is so important, because Solomon is known as the wisest king to ever live, and the wealthiest at the time. Notice he said, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. So according, because I was looking different things up, he was either 12, 15, or 20. So if he was 12 years old and he became the wisest man as a 12-year-old, imagine that. As a 12-year-old or as a teenager, just in general. So the Most High was really with him because he was what? He was diligently seeking the Most High. And at this point in time, he didn't have a double mind. So he wasn't unstable. And
Pretty sure he learned all of that from his father.
yeah, and then learning from his father's mistakes too, at least in the interim, in the beginning. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. Give therefore thy servant a what?
Understand.
Heart. An understanding mind, an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this people? For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? And the speech pleased Yahuwah that Solomon had asked this thing. So you can go ahead. But you see, he asked for an understanding mind. You can't just believe the Most High is going to heal that thing. You got to ask for it. You still got to seek it. You got to search it out diligently. You got to scrutinize. You got to investigate that thing. Father, hey, I see you gave it to Solomon. Give me that understanding mind before he fell. I don't need the one after. I don't need none of that other. Just give me wisdom. Help me. Give me a clean and contrite ruach, a heart. Because clean and contrite heart, we know that the heart is the mind. And we know that the Hebrew thought on what the heart or the mind is healing. A sound mind is healing. So when you're asking for a pure contrite thing, you're asking for him to purge you of that other mind, the other mind that we've been wearing for 400 or 500 years, that we still that's still deep rooted in us, that we can't seem to get rid of. But you still have to ask for it, and then you still have to do your part in work and war.
Because he was checking himself. He was like, in verse 7, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in.
Right.
He was checking himself.
Right. Because he honestly didn't know.
How am I going to do this? Like,
bro, even if he watched King David rule for let's say he was 12 or 15. How's a 12 or 15-year-old going to rule righteously? You know the emotions a kid has, what they have to operate in. Because a lot of our people are not grown mentally, so they have those same emotions now, and they still think it's a child.
Man, I've been saying that for the longest. Like, even though there's grown folks out here, like, grown is literally a state of mind. Right?
It's maturity. It's a state of mind.
State of mind.
It's a state of mind. You're right. You're right about that, and everybody ain't got that state. A lot of people are just too scared to shed that trauma, to shed that other mind, because again, they just got comfortable. You know, that way they're not alone. They have somebody they can converse with.
It's like change. I mean, some people, it's just, set in their ways, so to say. Change is scary. It can be if you let it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it could be something simple as just, changing what type of pair of socks you buy because you're so used to wearing the black ones and not the white ones or whatever, or changing your job atmosphere. You want a better job, but you're scared to go out and get that job because you're comfortable with the one you are now.
Right.
But you're willing to stay there and complain about it while yearning to be somewhere better.
Yeah.
You got to be able to make a change.
Yeah.
You got to work to make that change.
And you have to make a choice.
Yeah.
people are too scared to make that choice, because in that choice they're choosing a judgment. And again, people don't want to have an understanding heart because they don't want to have to judge a situation or a circumstance or a person.
Yeah, because for so long growing up, man, we've all been told, only God can judge.
We just read 3 or 4 scriptures where that's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Because he that is spiritual does what? Judgeth all things.
Righteous.
Righteous judgment, right? But can you read? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. 11.
Yeah, we're on 11.
And Elohim said unto him, because thou hast asked this thing, and hast not asked for thyself long life, neither hast asked riches for thyself, nor hast asked the life of thine enemies, but hast asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Now, because he asked that question, because again, the master Yahushua, he talks about you have not because you ask not, or you ask amiss, you ask for the wrong thing. He asked for wisdom, and let's see what the Most High
He didn't ask
understand.
for riches,
No.
any of that.
So let's see what the Most High is going to bless him with from what he asked.
Behold, I have done accordingly to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee.
So nobody before him or after him will ever be as wise as he was, because he asked him for that one thing. But let's see what else he got blessed with.
And I have also given thee that which thou hast not asked, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among the kings like unto thee all thy days.
So it would be a king of kings in his day, in wisdom. King of kings, right? Mm-hmm.
And if thou wilt walk in my ways, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as thy father David did walk, then I will lengthen thy days.
So then he's going to get an extremely long life, as long as he's obedient.
Long life, as long as he keep his statutes and commandments.
Mm-hmm.
And Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And he came to Jerusalem, and stood before the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah, and offered up burnt offerings, and offered peace offerings, and made a feast to all his servants.
So not even that, because he could have been full of pride after the Most High told him, "Oh, I'm gonna be the wisest man on earth. I'm gonna be the wealthiest man. This is that." But no, he humbled himself. He sacrificed to the Most High. What else did he do? He gave a feast for his servants, those that ministered to him. Because at this one time he had a sound mind. He wasn't double-minded, so he wasn't unstable, and he had an understanding heart. Because he knew, like, hey, let me get this sweet savor up to the Most High. Thank you for blessing me, Father. Thank you. You know what? Since you blessed me, I'm gonna bless my servants. I'm gonna let them eat at their heart's content.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't selfish with his money, with his wealth, with his wisdom. So keep going.
Then came there 2 women that were harlots unto the king, and stood before him.
Now we know that as an Israelite, we're not supposed to prostitute our daughters to the point where they become harlots in the land, because like whoredom, that's a very wicked thing. So off the gate, he could have been like, "Oh, y'all harlots? Oh no, I'm not about to deal with y'all. Y'all should really probably be put to death."
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. You could have just put them on the chopping block.
Bro, he could have. But let's see what he does.
All right. And the one woman said, O my master, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the 3rd day after that I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also. And we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we 2 in the house. And this woman's child died in the night, because she overlaid it.
Mm-hmm. So she either laid on it, towards suffocated, or according to that definition overlaid, it could have been a sexual thing and the baby died. So it depends, but more likely she just laid on it too tough and he suffocated. Okay.
And she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me, while thine handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And when I rose,
Hold on. Even though this literally happened in those days, this is talking about us. Two women, the older one, or the one that had the baby first, her child was fine, but the woman that came next, her child died.
She swapped them out while they were asleep.
Right, because she wants to be that mother, and she's not the natural mother to the baby. Like that's what I'm talking about. We're wearing somebody else's mind, somebody else's image. Like that's still our people, because they, whoever, this image that we were created in this land, we still look up, and a lot of times people deify them, make them gods. They're not gods. Stop worshiping man. That's what people keep doing, because we're double-minded. We're unstable in all our ways. We don't have a sound mind. We don't have an understanding heart or mind. We don't search out wisdom. We don't diligently seek anything. All we seek is entertainment, vainglory, trying to see what Lil Uzi Vert and all them trying to do. Nobody wants to spend time and get in here and gain wisdom or understanding. And that's what we got to get back to. Because discernment in this hour is crucial. It's vital. I'm telling you, when things start getting sci-fi, we'll see. Because people's hearts are going to fail them for the things that are coming upon the earth. That's what's really, literally about to start happening. Man, we're probably going to be living in the times of The Walking Dead.
Close. Still in trials right now.
Okay. You want me to go? You can keep on.
I'll keep going.
Okay.
And when I rose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son, which I did bear. And the other woman said, Nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, No, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they spake before the king.
Right, because they're both trying to say, no, the dead is yours, no, the living is mine. That's what they're trying to say before a 12 to 20-year-old kid that doesn't know whether he's going out or coming in. So let's see the type of wisdom the Most High gave him.
All right. Then said the king, The one saith, This is my son that liveth, and thy son is the dead. And the other said, Nay, but thy son is the dead, and my son is the living. 24.
Mm-hmm.
And the king said, Bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king.
What do you think he about to do with that sword?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
All right.
he finna cut this down to size real quick. And the king said, Divide the living child in two, and give half to one, and half to the other. Then spake the woman whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, O my master, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other said, Let it be neither mine nor thine, but divided.
Now, the second woman, does it sound like she has a sound mind, an understanding mind? Does it sound like her mind is something that would heal?
She willing to take half a child.
Yeah, I just want half.
Half a day.
I'll take half of that baby. People be joking about, like, I just want to go half on a baby.
Yeah.
She was literally trying to do that.
Yeah.
She was trying to go half on a baby.
Boy, she was trying to 12 play that baby. But anyway, she ain't in sound mind. That ain't her child.
You know that now. That's how wise Solomon was. Keep going.
Man. Oh man, 27, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the king answered and said, "Give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof." And all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of Elohim was in him to do judgment.
So that means his face was shining. That means that he was clothed in wisdom, the glory of the Most High.
That was a good way to root out that.
She literally said, "No, I'll take half. Then if you're gonna pull out your sword, I'll take half of that baby."
Man.
And that's exactly how our people are now. They'd rather be like, "Well, no, I'll take that."
If I have to suffer, then you have to suffer.
Yeah,
So,
misery.
Like, go ahead and split it up. We'll split this 50-50. In the end, both get nothing. No child.
Like, no, I'm not about to get in your sinking ship. Like, no. But you can tell that this woman had no sound mind.
But the first one, all right, let the child live. It's her.
Right.
She can have it.
Yeah, because at least her child she'd be able to see it grow up, even from afar. Because that's what she was operating in. Because she was renewing her mind, and the life of her child was more important than half of the child. She wanted a whole baby. She wanted a whole baby.
She wanted a living baby.
Right, a whole living baby at that.
Even if it wasn't going to be living with her.
And we ain't talking about a little baby or that baby. She wanted a real baby. Grown man, never mind. Right. So, never mind, man. But again, in this hour, a sound mind is crucial. Again, this is Sound Mind Part 6. Solomon's understanding mind. Thank y'all for tuning in. You gonna pray us out?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Abiyah, thank you for bringing us together for this assembly. Thank you for my brothers and sisters that was listening today and that will continue to listen, Abiyah. I'd like to ask you to keep us safe as we part our ways, Abiyah, and go on our separate journeys, Abiyah. Thank you for this word today. Thank you for being you. Thank you for giving us the understanding and this discernment for this lesson, Abiyah. And I just ask you that you just stay with us, keep us, and allow us to continue to try to be the light that we need to be, and keep us on that path for the hunger for the word and the truth and to read and give us all that spirit, Abiyah, because we need it. Our people need it. We need to wake up, Abiyah. In your name I pray. Shalom.
Shalom. Again, this Yak Yehuda, June. We out, man. Shalom.